didn't see the play I have in my eye.
What you hear in yourself when no one's to be found? What keeps you eased out? What takes you off your mind?
You better, cause you want this, I want this. Everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. You better take the time to recognize it. You won't leave me even if I tried it. You're the artist in the mass and happily perform the new in your hands.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah. Riding around the city with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, but we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. 12 asking better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Ooh, big dog. We come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lead dog. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet.
What is up, entrepreneurs? Happy Friday. Merry Christmas, and I hope you are having a fantabulous day. It is me, your hostess, the mostess, Diana Gladney, here on the Friday Live Helpcast. Let's get us some tunes rocking and rolling to get ready to dive into this week's Friday Live Helpcast, where you come in, you ask questions, and I stay and I answer them. And we have had the track record going on some years now since I've started this show 4 years ago, where we answer every single question, up to the point to where we have streamed in excess over 5 hours on a single stream, up to, what was like the last one was a couple weeks ago. So if you got your 5-hour energy badge, kudos to you, because you are one of the few, the proud. One of the few and the proud. Okay, and then let you all know we're going to be bringing back the aspect of the show where not only do you get to ask your question, but we will bring you on live. So you'll get a chance to hop in to the live stream, be visible on camera, okay? Have good audio, have some headphones, because I'll be bringing you on live, and we're going to be starting that, which is next week is my birthday week. So it's actually on Thursday this year. It's not on a Friday, which would have been so amazing, but it's actually going to be on Thursday. So I don't know if I want to do the Thursday stream or Friday stream, but we may stick with Friday just because. But next Thursday is my birthday, and I'm very much so looking forward to that. But we got some questions that came in through the week on the channel that we're going to be diving into as well, and then some comments that have come in also. So also, quick note, so I'm going to be looking over here on my other screen just to see what's what on the YouTubeosphere channel. If anybody, like I had to reply to an email just a bit ago about there being a potential block on some accounts or what have you. So we rarely have to have that as a issue. But if you feel like a comment disappears, or if you see it disappear or something like that, anyone that you see in the chat that has a wrench is a moderator, and they can assist with them. So you can tag them in the chat or tag me and let me know, or maybe sign in from a different device or something like that, and we can get that squared away and take a look at what may be going on. So I'm gonna try to keep my eye on the YouTube side of the chat during the stream. I can see it obviously in Ecamm, which we're using to live stream this right now, but sometimes things get wonky in tech, and I have no reason why it happens. So if you feel like something weird happens, let me know, and then we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So first and foremost, let's go over to IG question that we have, then we'll say hello to the fam in the chat. Saying, Diana, from your last short, which was again here on Instagram for this one, said, I noticed you turned your camera vertically to make shorts. I keep seeing some debate about keeping it horizontally. Could we talk about this during one of your lives? Saw your video on this a while ago, but can you speak on it specifically? Well, absolutely, I most certainly can, because I do see this debate, and I don't see it as really a debate, but more so of an education of when is the opportune time. It's not if you should, or like an or type situation, like should we do this or should we do that? It's more so an and. You don't have to choose between if you record your shorts horizontally or if you record them vertically. So obviously just keep simple horizontal this way and then vertical with your camera this way. Technically on the tripod it'll be this way so that the screen flips up so you can see yourself while you are actively doing your thing. I think you have to always go into your content with intentionality. What is the intent behind what and why you're doing what you're doing, and why are you recording that particular piece of content? What is the intent with what you're trying to do? So if you are getting ready to do a talk, let's say you're doing that, you're getting ready to do a public talk, you're getting ready to maybe do a really good piece of a long form piece of content. It could be a podcast or just a really in-depth masterclass style piece of content for your YouTube channel, but you're not sure all of the places you may want to put that yet. Well, the thing is this, you don't really have to choose. You also don't have to be more or less like super serious about, oh, I need to have two cameras, so I'm recording one this way and recording one that way. It's not that serious. Like, I get content is important, right? I teach content marketing and hashtag all the things. I speak on this, have clients on this, get paid to do courses and stuff and work with people on this. Like, it's important. Let's not get it twisted. But the thing is, like, where is it going first? It would be annoying, probably to the overwhelming majority that would watch this Friday Live Helpcast, if it was all in vertical, just because I know some may choose to watch it on their phones or whatever. So, like, what's the original intent? If I was out and about and I was traveling, then it probably would be vertical, because more than likely it would be on the phone if, like, you're walking and going someplace. But if the original intent is for the YouTube channel, which it is, and then we would share that to LinkedIn, and then when Instagram likes to participate, so like it was an issue with it today, I don't know why, but can't get it going for Instagram. Then, and I think it's user error today, but then it's like we're sharing that to the other platforms, but YouTube is the primary. So I know we probably will take different questions, different segments, different whatevers from the Helpcast and share those to other platforms. But I'm not going to have two cameras doing double duty, because one file is sufficient. But what I will do during that is being mindful of what is my plan and intent with my content. So that being the case, you guys can feel free, throw your questions at any time about anything in the chat. I'm just jumping into what we got during the week that came in, so I want to address those real quick. But I know for a fact that this is going to go someplace else. So what I do on my camera is you have your three, it's not 3x3, it's two lines here and there's two lines here. Trying to think of what it's called technically or whatever, but you have like grid lines. I believe it's the proper terminology, but it's just grid lines. So you have the one line here, literally on the camera, and then another one here. And then you have another one here and another one there. The only thing that I ensure that I am doing is that I'm somewhere, this would be technically dead center right in the middle, with just enough space for headroom and stuff like that. If I want it, I could pull my desk back a little bit more so that we have space to punch in. But I'm not really tripping off of that, right? And so it's like, I know I'm be in the frame. There's enough of me to be seen to use the footage. It's not that serious. More people are more concerned with, like, is the content worth listening to stop the scroll, versus more or less, are they looking like, oh man, she's a little like in the rule of one. You know, it's like, no, nobody cares that much. But when it comes to like you, the creator, and what you're doing, just think about what's the original purpose of what I'm doing. Where is this content going to go? So when you see most of my shorts content on YouTube and like Instagram, it could be TikTok, whatever, 90% of it, for the most part, it feels like 80-90% sometimes, is specifically intended to be a vertical piece of content only. I have no intentions of trying to turn that or push that any place else. The original intent of that piece is to be a vertical piece of content only. If I shared it, for example, here in the live stream, I could do that different ways creatively. I'm not stuck trying to figure out where do I post this content, or where, like, I'm not thinking about that. It's the original idea, the original form of that content is intended to be that. And if I find, this pro tip for you guys out there, if you find that a piece of vertical only content goes to someplace else, like it does well, and it's like, oh man, this has some legs to it or whatever, do a follow-up piece of content in the same format. So I'm not going to record horizontally to turn that piece into a vertical piece if I know that piece is only going to be a vertical piece. It is honestly ridiculous, and you lose a little bit of real estate, virtual real estate, I'm saying, when you're doing that. So you see all the space I have on the side? This would be extra real estate that I had if my camera was in vertical, if the whole intent of this stream was to just be vertical. So for example, I'm playing with the idea of doing some Instagram only live shows that I'm doing from my computer, but all of the assets and everything around that would be vertical. I'm not going to share that to YouTube. It's Instagram only at that point. So just think about the original intent of that when you're looking at your content, because you're making more work for yourself unnecessarily. And that's the thing too, when you're listening to tips and advice, it's like, does it make sense to you for what you're doing? And does it make your life easier, or does it make things more difficult? Sometimes it is something more difficult you need to do in order to get the success that you want. This is not one of those things. This is a preference and based on what you're doing. Now, to that point, when should you do a horizontal video, knowing that you're going to put it someplace else vertical? When you know it has legs for both. Sometimes you go into a piece like, no, I know I'm going to put this in both places. So that's when the framing markers, or even, like I said, those grid marks that every camera has, is ideal. It's helpful, and it would be ideal for you to use. Put it there. You just try to be somewhat in the center and stay there. The newer cameras now have, this was another short that I did before, about like a cool feature that was introduced to me on the Sony ZV-E1. It's a lot of creative centric, in English, there is a lot of creator-centric features that make content creation that much easier. One of those is a 9:16 framing, which is a little bit more narrow than the regular grid lines on your camera. It's a little bit more narrow, 9:16 is. So I put those lines on. It's not going to crop the footage for me or anything. So when I was, it wasn't this year, it was like towards the end of last year, was out in Spokane, Washington, recording with Ray Edwards. And so we were doing some pieces in a office location. Well, I know we're going to put this in both places, so I put the lines on. So that way, even when I'm recording this for a YouTube first piece, I know we're probably going to put that someplace else. So I turn those lines on just to give me the visual framing to know when we cut this into 9:16, it will already fit, because I'm thinking about it, just making sure it fits in both. So that's all. So it's not nothing too serious when it comes to that kind of stuff, for example. All right, so let's go to the chat real quick. Say hello to the fam that is here. We have Chat Night Africa saying, hi, Lady D, the colossus of multimedia technology. Divine sends you greetings from Chat Night Africa. You have some of the best compliments I have ever heard. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. What is up, Richard? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying it's a happy Friday. Hey, y'all. It indeed is a happy Friday. Good to see you. Glad that you're here as well. And then the lady of the hour, Miss Kim Bucha, who I did prepare for this, but I don't have effects to be like all over the screen and all that stuff. But Miss Kombucha, did you know? Let me turn the music down for just a smidgen. We're gonna pause this. Ms. Kombucha, you are the moderator of the month. So I just want you to know, everybody give a round of applause. Show some love out there to Kombucha. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Matter of fact, I wanted to bring this up specifically today because on my desk, I have your package, my dear. Boxed up, ready to go for your water bottle. Straight out the box from the manufacturer. Your create, post, repeat bottle. So shout out to Kombucha, moderator of the month. So appreciate you for doing all the things that you do, showing up, providing value, assisting where need be. Your stuff is sitting on my desk to go out today. And so it's already boxed up and packaged. I was hoping that you would be here, but I was going to do it regardless. So it just so happens to be fortuitous. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you always. And then again, everybody show some love to Kombucha out there in these real and digital streets, providing value to the live streams. Appreciate you so much. Saying, is the sound good? Seems low. I guess it would be happy early birthday, but thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't know. Let me know. The audio levels, it's like at some point I can't keep cranking them up because it would be hella loud. So let's see. Nope, audio levels still seem good on my end. Past the point, it's like it starts to become like a little bit peaking or whatever I hear it. It's like the audio levels don't change from video to video or what have you. But one thing I will say, when we're doing the live shows, check the YouTube volume button of the video. And then obviously, like most of the time we check our devices, whether it's the computer or the phone first. Just check the YouTube volume because sometimes that volume is lower if we lowered it down on another video or something like that. And as Kombucha is letting y'all know, saying if you have any questions during the stream, please be sure to put a Q and colon in the chat. Makes it that much easier for me to find and help y'all out as we get along out here in these real and digital streets. And blessed White Chocolate Day. What is up, JFK Productions? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying the rule of thirds. Yes, thank you. Well, it wasn't quite, I was thinking the rule of thirds, but that wasn't, we use those lines to make sure that we are in the rule of thirds. So for example, just to give context to that, I don't have the graphic here, but we can pull one up, rule of thirds on YouTube, and then show y'all, not on YouTube, but on, what's his face? Whatever it's called, Google, show you on Google. All right, so let's just pull this up because this will be a little helpful to show y'all what this is if you're not familiar. I think most of us are, but if you're not, no biggie. We're all here to learn, share, learn, and do. All right, so when you go to the Google sphere, you'll see how that person, you see all those white lines. You'll see this, and you can enable this or disable this on your camera. When you're putting somebody in the rule of thirds, it's either putting them on one line or the other. And that's to give like a visual framing. You want them to have space to, what is it? I'm trying to think of the proper terminology. I just have a migraine right now, so it's a little wonky. So you have to forgive me for if I have any brain foggedness or what have you today. I'm just trying to get through a migraine right now. But it's like if you want them to have space to see. So usually, if you're doing a video, let's say like when I'm doing skits, for example, which has been a minute since I did a skit on the channel or online. But if I'm doing a skit, you have one character, like I had to do when we had issues with the stream that one time. You'll have the character to have looking space. And so if I'm going to talk to somebody on the other side, then I'm going to usually position to this way, right? And so you want them to have space so that they're looking that way or whatever. And then you do have to switch. Then you switch. And for the other person, if you want them to be somewhere about here in the rule of thirds looking that way. And it's also really good framing for a couple other reasons as a creator. If you are dead center, it makes it that much harder at times in order for you to put something up in the corner. So what we used to do on YouTube, we would abide by those filmmaking rules of be in the rule of thirds, sit off to the side. So when you pulled up a graphic that you could do that, but tech and stuff has gotten so much easier. And you can do like a little bit of a push and pull where you move the frame over and then you'll see like graphics and stuff come over and a gradient or something like that. So you don't have to technically abide by those rules or what have you. But for me, I've started doing the centering, being just dead center. But yeah, it was the grid lines specifically is what those lines are called. But I appreciate that. So thank you. That is what they're called, though. So business growth ready. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Is correct. Those are the rule of thirds, but those grid lines specifically are the names for that. So your knowledge of all this is intimidating. How long did it take you to study all this? So I abide by what I call, and I would not say it's intimidating. You don't have to. What's to be intimidated about? The thing is this. I am one of those people that believe in always learning, always being a student. No matter what pinnacle you reach, and for every mountain you climb, you just now have reached the summit of one and literally the bottom of another. So there's always another mountain. How long did it take me to learn all this stuff? It's always an ongoing process. I'm constantly learning. Not just sitting finding stuff to learn. As I encountered problems. Every video, it was a problem. This would probably be good for some of y'all to see, because I don't want you to think like I'm some wizard that just knows a bunch of stuff. Let's go over to my channel, and we're going to do one of the most embarrassing things I have done in a very long time. And we're going to go way back on the channel, like way back. Because I just want y'all to see, it's not, what I say is I leave those older videos that suck up for a reason. So let's go hither. So on my YouTube channel, you go over to videos, and then you go to oldest. These are some of my oldest videos on the channel. This was literally one of my first public videos, but it was not my first video. So my first video, just type this in, my first video, I think it's over here. Yeah, this was my first video. Terrible. I even talk about my first video. It looked like hell. It's like, but this is my first video. Terrible. Okay, so I was just in the car. If you have heard me tell this story before, it's awful. It's as awful as it looks. It was hot as hell. It was summer. Not only that, I didn't know anything about framing, so I was standing corners of walls in the house. I'm standing in front of doors, looking at what other people are doing in their houses on YouTube at the time. And I'm like, and this is the dates is just when I uploaded this so people could see it, so I could have it for reference. But this was posted on Facebook initially, is where I started posting my videos at first. Terrible. Looked terrible. Shaky footage, all of that I talk about. Never start a video like that. Never started it like Shake McGee. It looked terrible. Sounded terrible. But sounded terrible. But it's hot. I had to turn the air conditioner on, then turn the air conditioner off because it's hot, it's humid. I got the Whitney Houston lip sweat thing, trying not to, and I'm like, okay, I don't know nothing about light. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in the car. I'm gonna go in the car because at least the audio will be fine, but then it's a car video. And then it's self-explanatory, and that's the end of that. So that was literally my first video that I published. But if you just go back on my channel to the oldest video, it's like this video specifically is a good example of when I was trying to figure out, like I had bought, I think it's the Canon T5. Yeah, it was the Canon T5i at the time. This is, let's see. Some of these videos, it's like that's when I bought a camera by then. Let's go back to this one.
What's up, guys?
Okay, so this is when I had the Canon T5i. The videos that I did with my phone were posted again on Facebook. So those I never brought over here. But these are the first ones that I had with my camera. So this is like literally the first videos ever using a camera, the Canon T5i. I did like everybody said you do. Go to the hardware store, you buy some shop lights from the construction section. We're not even going to the lights section. We're just going like construction material at the hardware store. You get you some lights, and then you post them with like paper or something to soften it, or a shower curtain, which I didn't have, so I used printer paper, and it was underexposed. I didn't know anything about it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not that bad, I guess. Audio, lapel microphone, not that bad, but I still have the windscreen on. There's no wind inside. I don't need that. Like, I don't know what I don't know at this point, right? It's at least not super overexposed, but I didn't know how to light for a window being behind you or anything like that. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm just looking like, how do I get me to look good? Next video that I did, let's see here. No, it wasn't that one. This is another one, underexposed. Look terrible, but I'm batch recording, figuring out the music's too loud in this video. Feel free to watch these ugly videos if you so choose at your own risk. I can't be held responsible. But every video, I ran into a new problem. Every change of clothes, I ran into a new problem, because how do you mic a shirt that is only a t-shirt like this versus one that was a button down? So I just started wearing a bunch of button downs because those were easier to mic for a lapel or something like that. But I'm not gonna wear that during like the summertime. So I'm like, how do I fix that? Or I'm like, why am I dark? I, have acne issues. So I'm like, okay, well, you got this hyperpigmentation on my skin that looks really bad on camera. It's like, what can you do really about that lighting wise, so it just don't look so present and whatever. If I get an acne, piece of like really bad cystic acne, then what do I do? Make a video anyway. So there's videos of me, big old cystic acne on my face. So it's like, you look at this one, then I'm like, it's too dark. Let me turn the lights up. Apparently I thought all the lights should be up, but I kept making videos. So I'm like, okay, I don't quite look right, and everything else is super duper bright. How do I fix this? I'm like, I'm putting little elements and stuff in the background, trying to make it look a little better, but it still looks ugly. I'm also recording at different times of day. I don't know nothing about nothing, but every new video, I was looking for how to figure out and fix just one thing by that next video. And sometimes I would mess something up, but I still posted and recorded the video anyway. Daily progressive steps is what it boils down to. Daily progressive steps. That was it. That was I had the two mantras that became something that I operated by, which was learn and do. Whatever I learn, I'm going to execute on. So if I learned something new that day, looking into how to solve a problem about the audio, then I'm going to go do it in my very next video. And then was my second mantra, which was, well, learn and do is my philosophy. My mantra at that time was daily progressive steps. That is the only two things that helped keep me focused, was taking daily progressive steps. It is okay for me, and it's still to this day, I'm like, it's okay if it don't quite look right. It's okay if something gets messed up. It's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if like whatever happens. My goal is to take daily progressive steps. I'm constantly going to be moving forward, so I'm never stagnant, stuck constantly having this problem, because I'm not going to fear being uncomfortable, not, doing whatever. Those videos have not done great, over time. Thank God. And so this is why you'll hear a lot of us talk about in the content creation space, post your videos anyway. Some of y'all have, well, not even some, I guarantee you every last one of you, because your phones are better than the camera that I had at the time, have a better camera, have better lighting, have better audio, know more than I did when I was publishing those videos. And at the point I started publishing those videos with a camera, I had already done 50 videos on my phone that I had posted, and stuff that I was doing on Facebook. And I had got the Logitech C920 webcam that I still have sitting in a drawer someplace. And I started using that for live streams. So I started doing live streams on Facebook using, I can't remember the software now, but started figuring it out. Didn't know anything about editing. Every day, daily progressive steps. So I'm like, the more content that I put out, I should be getting better over time, because I'm gonna keep taking daily progressive steps. Eventually I'll get to where I need to get to, and eventually I will get to like something I'm really proud of. But even back then, I had videos I was proud of, because the next video I put out was always the best video I had ever done. Unless it was something like wildly off, like those videos initially of me, like it's just weird. And I'm like, gosh, like, I'm like, one time it looks like it's close to okay, like I'm only like a half step away from it looking way better. And then sometime I fall off the cliff and I'm like, where do I go from here? I'm like, how do I even begin to fix this? Don't know. I'm gonna see what I can find on YouTube, because the YouTube of today was not the YouTube that it was back then. So I'm just take daily progressive steps. But I posted my videos anyway, and I posted them. I was posting probably just about daily to every other day video. Those videos on YouTube were afterwards. They were after the fact. And I have probably 300 or 400 videos that I've taken off of YouTube since then. So it's like in around that time frame. So just keep putting in the reps. Keep putting in the work. Work works if you work it. And it's embarrassing at the time. You know, it feels like, well, my stuff is not as good as that person. I didn't compare that way. That became the goal, but I wasn't comparing myself to the goal, because I'm taking steps towards it. I'm not saying, well, I'm way back here, this other person's way up there, and they stuff look way better. I wasn't comparing. Can't tell you why. I didn't have that issue of comparison at the time, but I just knew this is where I'm going. And probably because my focus stayed on every day I'm taking daily progressive steps. I literally posted a video every day somewhere. And then once I got my camera, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to use this camera. I'm going to use it every single day so that I can always be constantly getting better, taking daily progressive steps. And then whatever I'm going to learn, I'm actually going to do it. And just the combination of, I said, that philosophy and that mantra, even down to the stuff that I'm doing. You're going to have to do stuff. I'm doing stuff now. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. For some things, right? It's new, completely new to me. But I'm doing it anyway. So it's not, that's why I say it's not anything to be intimidated about or by. It's just taking daily progressive steps. And people came anyway. Still got over 1 million something plus views on the channel, and still got over 20-something thousand subscribers. Like, think about that in your head. And even like that first video I posted on YouTube, 400 views. Don't sound like much, but who are you comparing it to? I always think in my head, 400 people staring back at you in a room kind of scenario. Done a lot of public speaking. 400 people sitting in a room is packed. People be like, that's a high five, like, heck yes, like, this is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. 100 people in a room, eyeballs staring back at you. It's an amazing feeling. But there's this, like, by the wayside kind of feeling. 50 people in a room. If you said you're gonna do a talk and it's like one of your first ones ever, and 50 people showed up to say, like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this. It's a different kind of mindset. And I've sat and I've done those when there's like hundreds of people in the room, and it's just like, it's mind-boggling that we look at these people, real people, as if it was like no big deal. So I don't, like I said, that's why don't be intimidated by it. I would more so say just be encouraged that if you have a question, you can feel free to ask. That's why I do these, so nobody has to feel ridiculous asking questions. That's what they're for. So yeah, then be intimidated by. Let's see here. See, we got saying, ooh, thank you. Saying, I'm just happy to be here. You're the reason why a lot of us keep creating content. Well, I appreciate that. Glad to be of service as always, Kombucha. And again, thank you so much for your service. Mike Castle Life, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying, as usual, you're full of amazing knowledge and you look fantastic. So great seeing you this happy Friday. Well, thank you so much, my good sir. Good to see you as well. And I'm having a quite fantabulous day as well, with a wonderful cup of coffee. Saying, what's the name of your YouTube channel? It's just you own it, at Diana Gladney. It's that is my regular YouTube channel. What I shared. You're here. You just go to the videos tab. That's on desktop. You can still do it on mobile. On desktop, go to the videos tab on the home page. Just youtube.com/@Diana Gladney, videos tab. Go to the oldest one. There she is. Old me figuring it out. It's times where the audio wasn't great. It's times where the video and audio way out of sync. Like when I first started messing with larger 1080p video files. Especially when I touched 4K for the first time. I'm like, good Lord, this is, it was massive at the time. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. My computer didn't know what to do because it was for documents and emails and work, not for video editing. And I didn't know anything about that stuff. So it's an amazing journey. Your story resonates with me. I think you would be a great guest on Chat Night Africa. And like I said, I checked out your channel as well to see what was what with the lighting and what. And so, yeah, saying if 1% better each day was a person. I'm not kidding. So put this in a context. Present day, I'm still doing that. I was journaling in my journal here. Let's see, pull this up. Real insert here. So I'll give you some insights into how, this is not changed. This is just this is just me. This is just how I am. So I was journaling about what do I want moving forward, and I'm journaling about what should I do differently on the channel moving forward? What's resonating? Where are things not resonating? Where is the audience and the community going? What would they want? Where's the market at? What do I want? What are my goals? I did a podcast, but we may have to throw that out. It's supposed to be next week's episode for the Video Simplified podcast. And I think something happened with the audio video. I have to check the raw file again today to see if we can salvage that at all. But in that podcast, I was saying it was, in my prayer time was something that just came up again, was like, dream again. Start dreaming again. So I'm like, okay. So that is the thing that I'm paying attention to now. So I'm like, what do I want? What do I envision? I'm like, somebody asked a question last week about S-Log3 and what I do. I don't use S-Log3. I don't unless I have a need for it. Like when I was doing that sales page video for a launch for my friends, and I was working with them in the client aspect. So doing that, then I did S-Log3. But I'm like, okay, if I'm going to teach this, there's some things I would want to know more, or like, what should I be doing? So journaling about some other stuff. Let me see. It's like, that'll be my go-to setup, and I'll keep using my Sony 35 f1.8, and that'll be great. Now it's like, tomorrow I'm going to experiment with a wider white balance in the home office. And I was like, I'm also looking into my brand in the business and my personal brand. Clothes annoy me. I'm saying, like, to feel dressed up as if like I put on a full suit kind of a thing, like all of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, clothes annoy me. But I was like, I'm going to step that up. If the current mission and focus is to dream again, I have to reimagine what I look like. What do I feel like? How I want to live, and what is the most important thing to me. Even in my content, I'm going to start creating that film aesthetic that creates an inspiring vibe and image. So new thought, right? This is as of yesterday. It's like, so new thought, no more stock footage. I want my content to be more authentic and more real us versus feeling put on and produced. I want to start getting back into the edits with the short and possibly some vlogs. I was like, in the next year, I'm gonna hit 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel and massively explode my social channels for the better. So that is like my insert, one of my journal inserts that I do because, number one, it gets me thinking deeper. The only way that I can capture and see where's my starting point, I'm going to document it. I'm going to document it not just visually, but I'm going to write it down. Because I can just look at this. You can make all kinds of assumptions about this image. But I know how I got here. I know what I'm thinking in that moment as of that day. And so I'm thinking like, okay, what's going to happen if I change the white balance? So we changed the lighting. You may not see a difference because that's the goal, to stay looking normal. And that's constantly been the thing. If I change something, so we changed from 45 to 4,700 kelvins on the white balance to 5,000 kelvins for the white balance to brighten the room, because when I switch from winter to summer, the light coming through the office is different. And so I didn't switch, and I kept like feeling off. And then I got a tan from being outside, and I'm looking darker. I'm like, something's off, and I need to figure this out. Then I'm also thinking like goal wise, what do I want aesthetics wise? What do I want brand wise, or what have you? So I experiment still to this day. How do I do that? I do it in shorts, do it in Instagram Live. I do it in my throwaway videos still that I'm doing if it's something brand new. And I did a throwaway video yesterday. So it's always a constant thing. Daily progressive steps has never gone anywhere. The only way you get used to your camera, start using it every single day. Find a reason to use it every single day. But posting is the thing that changes the game for you. Publishing is the thing that makes changes for you. Hoarding content never does anything for anybody. So FHA said Joven or Joven, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying you're always helpful to us. Thank you, man, for all your great work. And you're always responding to us when you can. I appreciate that. Glad always to be of service. So I had another comment that was over on LinkedIn that I want to post. Surprisingly, already I've gotten to the end of the comments. So y'all know the rule. I'm going to stay and answer questions, but y'all don't have no questions today. Y'all been letting me rant on about my experience. So I'm going to go pull up this LinkedIn comment. Y'all, if you have questions, or if you're struggling with something, or if you have an issue with something, let me know and put it in the comments. And just, we can go through and dialogue about that. Like I said, starting probably next week, I'll start bringing you guys on where you can just click the link, jump on the stream. That way you can come and show what it is that you're dealing with, or come on and ask your questions live and in person, which is the original way that we used to do the show. So I'm gonna go over to LinkedIn, pull up the LinkedIn comment, and then I'm gonna come back to the chat. And if y'all don't have nothing for me to ask or something that you want to discuss this week, it's gonna be a real short stream. So let's go over to this other question and comments thing that I had that came in on LinkedIn. So I am going to get ready to pull this up. Let's go back to live mode now. And here we go. So LinkedIn question, or comment rather, said, I love this episode, which was last week's Friday Live Helpcast, and I just watched the whole thing. My favorite part is when you shared your story about your hair, corporate culture, changing your mind, and making a new decision. What a great discussion about decision making and trusting yourself, even when there is no agreement from those around you. It was a tremendous entrepreneurial discussion about decision making, trusting yourself as a decision maker, and believing in yourself. Excellent conversation. Thanks, Dinah. Well, thank you so much, Zatora M. Woodley, or Dr. Woodley, if you will. So to this comment that came in on LinkedIn, and again, sent to buy me a coffee as well. So thank you again for so much for that. From giving from your heart to my home, I always appreciate that. So thank you so much. So to that point, like we talk about content creation, talk about making your stuff and all those things, it looks ridiculous to pursue your dreams in public. And when I say in public, I'm saying like your family, friends, stuff like that. It looks absurd to spend even $500, let alone $300 on a camera. And we know in the camera space, it's not going to get you that far, right? So go even more than that. Create a space for it. Start putting yourself out there when most people, if you really start to think about it, most people around you, even the most verbose of those around you, are not used to even speaking and sharing their mind at their job. So let alone them pursue something they want, desire, or think about or care about in a way that would show them not 100% polished. Because in order to start doing video recording and showing up for yourself, most of the time now, the way cameras are now, you can put it in auto and look amazing. You could put it in auto and it still would look amazing. It would do a really fantastic job. And lock those settings and post and be done. Like, it would look fantastic. With the lenses and stuff we have now, the autofocus that we have today, like, is so many great things. With the like phones, oh my gosh, phones look amazing now. I'm not a phone person, but like, as far as doing video, when it's just not my personal cup of tea, they still look amazing compared to what the dumb phones we had that was trying to learn to be smart, hadn't passed the exam yet. Phones we had, yeah, those phones, worlds of apart, different. So when you put yourself out there and you say, not that I'm going to try something, not that I want to, but I am doing it, and I don't care. I love you, but I don't care what you think. One of the greatest things I ever learned from one of my early mentors in my 20s was, what other people think about you is none of your business. And that includes family and friends that you love and care about. What they think about you is none of your business, unless you are taking advice from someone you're willing to trade places with, which oftentimes you're not, and you would not want that person's life. You may like aspects of them and can take advice from certain things about aspects, and they can be well-meaning and say it in a place of love, but also still be saying it from a place of ignorance and fear. A lot of times what people are projecting and sharing is their fear and limitations, that they're saying, I just don't want you to get hurt. I just want you to be safe. I don't want you to look a fool. Whose problem would that be if I did? I was out there looking foolish, making content, going back to work the next morning, feeling foolish. And I showed up again the next day. And so I shared this last week as well. It's like pushing past my feelings and executing on my discipline. What other people think about you ain't none of your business. And unless you're willing to trade places with the person that you are listening to, or you want some aspect of their life for the lane of stuff that they're giving advice on, I would advise you against it. From anybody, anywhere, at anybody, anywhere. Okay? And so that was the thing when I was sharing about, me cutting all my hair off. I didn't know what my hair was gonna look like. I had no clue. No idea. There's videos on the channel. If we pull it back up, those videos still public. Because it's like, if there's one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. So let's go over to, real quick, fast, and in a hurry, go back to the YouTube channel. So this is me. I used to, the hairstyle I called that was the slick back. So get a relaxer, slick it back, wrap it up, whatever, slick back. Love my Cardinals, go Cardinals. But it's like, by now, it's like I'm starting to feel better about doing content. This video here was on me.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Doing,
Hey, what's up, guys?
This is from, I think, the Logitech C920. I had invested now, again, in lighting, invested now into a better microphone. And so now I'm doing videos with the Logitech C920. And so I'm like, at the time, this looked even better. It looks even better. And so, but it still wasn't great. So let's go back. Videos, oldest. Maybe I'll pop these open in a new tab. So now it's like I'm starting to get better. I'm learning more about cameras, and I'm like, I really love making more stuff about cameras and the video stuff that I'm learning than I do about some of the other stuff that I'm learning. Or it's my first experience with making some kind of a course or something. So $0, 0 cents of it. And it's like, I'm like, okay, don't matter. I'm moving forward. Still working a job, still experimenting with videos. And you see, starting to get some traction on some of them, but otherwise not. Still making mistakes with some videos. But it's like, it didn't care. Moving forward. Taking daily progressive steps. Then it's like I'm getting some that look all right. This was a live stream back in 2017. Or not a live stream, I think it's just a super long video. But by then I was doing live streams. So let's scroll ahead to me cutting my hair. Scroll on, scroll on, scroll on. Up here, up here. So this is still older. Hadn't cut it yet. That's just in a ponytail. Here it is. Starting this is when I cut my hair, but it's like right before then. So around here, like when I started, I had already started like the M50 series. So somewhere in between here, I started doing, I still have my hair on that one. I think I still have my hair on this one. And then by the time I did this, I think this was this my first? So curious on how to get better. Pause. So I think by this time, at this point, this is when I had cut my hair. So this is when I cut my hair. And at this point, like this is some of my first public videos of doing it. I had all kind of comments coming at the time. I kid you not, the worst comment I still remember verbatim, and I wish that I didn't, but I'm gonna share it. And it's like, and it's so rude, but the dude said, because my hair was growing out. It wasn't this video. This is fine, but once I want to start growing it out past the point, I'm gonna need to just right click, open in a new tab, note to self, so I don't have to keep scrolling. But I got to the point to where I needed to now grow it out. Here, these videos, it was this one. Commented on this video, I never forget. Now, I'm growing my hair out, and it don't look great all the time, and I'm trying to figure out, my hair has to transition from being relaxed for forever to now being itself. My hair had never been itself since I was born, literally. From the time we little, we getting relaxers up until I'm grown, getting relaxers. So this is the first time I'm seeing my hair even for myself. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna publish videos anyway. I don't really feel inspired to make content. These two videos, where you see this one being the one, is I'm like, I'm gonna publish anyway. Because I was starting to fall back of just like, I'm tired. I don't feel like, man, I'm just like, I'm feeling beat up at this point. And so I can't even tell you what was going on, trying to remember, but I just remember the feeling of feeling beat up and tired and exhausted at this point, and like not getting some traction that I wanted. And so at this point, like, oh, hell, I could tell you now, I'm thinking about it. My job, I just hated my job. Like I hated life at this point. I really did. I'm like, I'm tired. I hate my job. I hate everything. Like, I'm sick of all of this. Channel ain't growing, and that stuff ain't going the way I want it to. I'm just like, ugh, it's frustrated. I'm making a piece of content anyway. And I'm like, this was me getting over a hump and a hurdle of, I don't feel like making a piece of comment. So fortuitous that the comment came on this video that said, fire the gardener that's doing your hair. And I was like, and I laughed, and I never laugh at like the bad people, they leave comments or whatever, just having a bad day. And I was like, whatever. But it's like, fire the gardener that's doing your hair. And I'm like, you dirty bum. And so I laughed, and then I still blocked them or whatever, because I'm like, ain't nobody got time for you. But I never forgot that comment. But it was just so incredible. And it's funny now because I don't think about it, but it's like when I do see an occasional random, it's like it seems like every couple of years somebody may leave a comment on this video or something from way back whenever, for like, I don't know how it even would come up at this point. But it's like, or they just going through the catalog of stuff. And when he said that, I always remember, and shout out to the pause face that I had on that one. It's just like, I remember that dude's comment, and I'll crack up laughing. I'm like, that dirty bum. But it was at a point when everything else sucked. I'm making a piece of content to move forward. I just cut my hair. I have to let it grow out. And then it's like, once you get it twisted, you have to, unless you get it like crocheted or something. I didn't know about that at the time. And so you got to go through this period where it don't quite look great. I did videos anyway. I did skits at that point anyway. Ain't nothing gonna stop the show. So talk about looking, well, not really feeling a fool, but just looking like one at times. I don't care. In pursuit of my vision and my goals and my dreams to achieve my purposeful work and why I'm created, I careth not about what other people that probably will never pursue their own dreams, that probably will never assume their own dreams in their lifetime, care and think. So that is when I say stuff when I'm like, that's like, it's some depth behind when I say certain things. And at that point, I'm pursuing my life to achieve the things that I want. I care zero things about what somebody else, let alone if I care about them or if I don't care about them. For sure, if I don't, like coworker, a supervisor. I was also like being late to work on it all the time because I just didn't care about the job. So I'm like, fire me. I don't care. It's like I'll figure out whatever happened. I just hated the job. So I'm like, no respect to showing up on time or any of that. And so I got written up at that time. And my supervisor put me into one of the conference rooms and he was like, you got to sign this form. I'm like, okay, I got a pen. And so I was signing it. He's like, you don't feel bothered? You don't seem bothered by any of this. I was like, bothered for what, Chris? I was like, what difference do it make? He said, he's like, this is your life. This is your career. I said, no, it's not. I said, this is a job. I said, that's the difference. I said, it's a job. I said, he said, so what are you going to do if you get fired, if you lose this job? I said, get another job. I said, there's a bank across the street that when people quit here, first place they go apply is over there. Matter of fact, later on when the bank closed, that's where all the business went anyway. They sold contracts to across the street, US Bank. So I'm like, it's a job. It's a job. And then too, on top of that, not to get like morbid or whatever, I'm watching young people my age, or at the time, I don't even know how old I was then even. But I'm watching people at the time, like young people, choosing to opt out of living further. And I'm like, bro, this is a job. It means zero things in the conquest of life, other than paying your bills, which is like, it's an acronym out there. Didn't make it up, but you'll hear it a lot in certain spaces where it's like a job is being just over broke. It don't have to be, but that's a lot of people's reality. And at the time, that was my reality. Even it's like at that point, it's like I decided I'm not trying to climb a corporate ladder anymore because the building's on fire. I can read the intranet reports and the bank statements for the stuff that's going on. It's the building's on fire. What I'm trying to climb the ladder for? I'm gonna be late and I'm gonna do a great job at work, but I don't want to participate in no meetings. I don't want to participate in the team dinners or anything. I just would rather work, wear my headphones, listen to my podcast and take my courses, because I'm like, if it takes for me in my electricity bill to get cut off in order for me to pay for this course, that's exactly what I did. And I would ask my parents, can I go eat at your house for a couple weeks instead of have dinner over there? Because like breakfast, I think I mostly skipped. And then it was like oatmeal packs or whatever. And then, what was it? Lunch. Be blessed enough for people would buy me lunch at times just because my graciousness coming back to me. And then God's blessing. and like, I'm gonna have dinner at my family house. And that's what I did. They was like, you spend, I'm just, hey, it's family time. I'm having family time. Tell my folks what's going on or whatever. I didn't care. It's like, so you're not gonna pay the electricity? No, the electricity bill will be here when I die. It literally will be here for forever. It's like, it'll be the electricity bill. They don't even give you a once every 20-year discount. It's always gonna be electricity bill. This month, it can wait. Because this course is on sale. It's available for the first time, I'm saying, from somebody that I'm learning from. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get someplace that I've never been. Here I am these many years later, still, again, conquer one mountain, stand at the peak of one, and find yourself at the bottom of another, always in the pursuit of conquest to get to that next goal or whatever it is that you want in life. So when I give context to, I careth not what other people say, unless you're willing to trade places with that person, unless that person is a mentor or something. And it's like, and even then, you have to know when to go with your gut. It's not been a whole bunch of times. It's only been a handful of times where my mentor would say one thing, and I 100% with my gut and my heart know to do something else. Can't rightly explain it, but it's always been the right thing. It has always been the right thing. But that doesn't happen all the time. It's not an all the time thing. So to that comment, it is a lot to trust in yourself. It is a lot. to be the decision maker, because it's like you'll hear like in a rap space sometimes or whatever, and I'm not into all of the streets and all of that. I joke and I jest. I don't play out in the streets. Shoot, I don't. That's a whole nother thing. I feel like it's a lot of people that could beat me up out there in the street, so I become friends with the beater up people. Okay, I become their friends, and then I don't have to deal with none of that. That's how I live. That's how I roll. Shoot, streets be rough. But it's like when it comes to stuff like that, it's like I'm gonna do what I need to do for my life in pursuit of my goal and purposeful work to achieve my goal and why I'm here in my lifetime. So it is a lot to be a decision maker. And like I said, in the rap game, you'll hear, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. Yeah, you do. That much is a true statement. So let's get into some comments. Hopefully there are some there. And once we get to the end of the comments and such, we're going to move this stream right on along. Saying, what's your favorite focal length? And what did you start out with? So I started out with the kit lens. So that's the easier answer. And I didn't have a favorite early on. So now we're going to change gears. Some Q&A, hopefully, based on y'all cues. I got some A's for you. So I started with the kit lens. Didn't have a favorite focal length because I was always fighting for a wider angle. On Canon cameras, the crop factor on their APS-C is a 1.6 times crop. On Sony is a 1.5 times crop for APS-C. APS-C was the best, and I think still to this day, the best place to get started when people first buy a camera. So like I said, I was working with the kit lens and just looking to see, because I'm also not having a lot of money at the time. So I got the camera, kit lens. I'm like fighting for lighting and trying to figure that out, as you saw from the older videos. And I'm also fighting for a wider focal length because the audio stuff now is so much better, so much easier. We didn't have wireless packs like you do now, even the cheap somethings that still sound surprisingly good to a point on Amazon for like 20 bucks now. We didn't have any of that stuff. So you just had to get a really long lapel microphone, and that didn't work in my space because if it hit the ground in certain areas or whatever, probably from grounding issues, it would produce this buzzing noise. So I was fighting a lot of different stuff. So I was just trying for like a wide focal length, and then something that my lapel mic wouldn't just be standing, stretched out in the middle of the video kind of a thing. So favorite focal length now, though, is what you're looking at, which is the favorite focal length and favorite lens to date after all these years, the Sony 35mm f1.8 lens. It is an APS-C lens, and it is on my ZV-E1, but that's the lens that I love, and that's the focal range that I love, simply because it just is, I can't even rightly explain it, but it's such a beautiful lens. The quality of the optics in the glass, the way that it renders images, it just is an amazing lens, and 35 has become my favorite focal length. So that's what I like. And then second favorite, I would say the Sigma 16 f1.4 is another nice one. That's really good. Hi Diana, what is up? Josh, good to see you. Glad that you're here. So thanks for going over the content quadrant. Could you go into detail on the Dropbox folder structure for content that is already filmed? And I have a lot of footage and photos that isn't organized. Fantastic question. And that is coming out of my book, The One Right Video. So so Dropbox is really easy, or Drive, Google Drive, very easy to keep organized when you're talking about stuff that you've already recorded. It's just a matter of figuring out what makes the most sense for what you're trying to do. So let's take a look-see over yonder, and I will actually show you. So this is our team folder. So there are other folders. Obviously, as you see, this one is number 5 of others. You can probably see on the side some of those, but it's like I have other stuff, right? So just number 5 moving forward though. So you got to figure out what is your team folder going to be. And if you don't have one, just make one. Use a numbered system so that it doesn't reorganize. It makes it easier to find as you add other stuff. So use a numbered system, because then it don't change until you specifically change and add stuff. And if I added something else, it would be this. So we have creative assets, which is folder 0, and then which I always leave 0 or a 00 or even sometimes a 000 if it's like a lot of types of assets for something or a project. But start at 0 for your assets, stuff like that for your business, your brand colors, brand guide, any of that stuff. Social media micro content main folder. Once we get the finalized version for certain stuff, it goes there. But I will tell you probably the most helpful things will be once we get into the YouTube folder. And you just add stuff as you're doing other things. So it's like I would do 30 and 60-minute coaching calls. And so you could get those on the website. I think the 30 minutes are turned off, and it's just, I don't know what's up there right now, but because I changed it once I moved the website. But 30-minute calls are not available. But those are where those calls replay would be. Then you have external education content type stuff. So just whatever kinds of things, right? Website content hub, stuff like that. So let's go to the YouTube folder. That's where it would be most, it would make the most sense. So as I go into the YouTube folder, I have this stuff. Like I said, 000s, just so it's like I don't want to delete certain things, because depending on certain education spaces, certain topics, whatever, we want to have that old stuff to refer back to, but it doesn't need to cloud up space for the new stuff, for the new brand. We're not going to repost it on its own, so it goes to like an old stuff folder. So that's what that is. But otherwise, 0 folder is my raw B-roll clips library, which is why I was saying in my journal, going to transition into no stock footage. So because we have enough context, and then I believe the brand is changing when it comes to even like the social behaviors on YouTube. It's just, again, more authentic content is making better transitions on YouTube, and it's connecting better. So a bunch of story blocks, videos, or whatever becomes off-putting at a point. My opinion, my thought processes, and from my assessments. Then I have my raw files for YouTube, which is where when I have a raw video that I'm going to upload, it goes there. Unedited vlog footage. So if I'm traveling, it's going to be a bunch of clips that needs to go someplace else. The review process is 2.1, so I just moved that from someplace else. And then we have any other kinds of videos that are there. So if we go into the raw B-roll folder, this is one you can anybody easily can start making today. And I would highly recommend that you start doing it today, because if even for you and your business and your brand, and I'm just gonna hit the high points of the stuff right now. We're not gonna go deep into this, but I think this will be super valuable for you. You probably recommend certain services. You probably are an affiliate for certain companies. When you download that logo, you should not have to go re-download that logo again. If you remove the background for it, you shouldn't have to go remove the background again. You should just be able to go pull up that stuff. And so this is something that at the end of the year, I'm gonna start doing. It's like essentially it's like the best gear of the year, which is like the bee's knee. What is the bee's on the bee's knees Hall of Fame? What's the gear that made it for the gear of the year in the bee's knees, what I consider the bee's knees Hall of Fame? So we have the assets and stuff already pre-made for that. So that goes into a folder. Different series and stuff we've done over time on the channel, different effects, whatever. And then there's a folder with my name on it. Most of you, other than brands that you are affiliated with, work with, talk about a lot, if it's anything that if I'm ever going to do it more than once, then I want to add it to the B-roll library. So you make a folder with your name on it. So I have one called Diana Actions, Diana Photos, Diana's lighting setup, and then this is the Ecamm Creator Camp raw clips, because that's a bunch of clips of me that could be used. So when we go into this would be like the Your Name Actions folder, you should have a ton of stuff from you, about you, by you, doing different things. You can even pull this stuff from older videos that you have, and have that be something. So it's like you'll see different stuff of me during different actions. And so most of the time it's a piece of a clip that is just segmented out. It's the raw clip. So if we ever change the color grading, or if we want to do something with it, we have the raw file for it. And so this is a clip that you'll see a lot of times used. This is when before I bought my monopod, and I'm like, I want less space, whatever. So whenever we're talking about something, you see me, we talked about that earlier on the stream even, flipping the camera from horizontal to vertical. And so we talk about that, and then that's the clip, and that's literally it. So you don't have to over analyze any of this stuff, but just know it is super helpful. So let's do quick, that one. Yeah, and that'll be helpful. So that's a great folder for y'all to start making. Me doing one-on-one content marketing. So this was a time lapse, I think, or something like that I did with Ray. Turn the volume down just in case there's audio with that. And so this was like a super long clip, but we sometimes, well, this was, okay, so it's recorded, but it's like we're talking about whatever we're talking about. We are doing, I'm doing a session with Ray at the time. And so we're discussing stuff. So if I'm saying audibly in my video, if I'm working with a one-on-one coaching client, or if I'm consulting with a brand or business owner, I could literally show this clip, because this is what this clip is. It's an example of that. I don't have to go look anywhere for it. It's already there. Me doing a tutorial, a piece of a clip from a video, choppy video, me giving an example of what is a bad, it was like we needed to test out USB settings, stream or something for videos, and how to deal with that. So what does that look like? This clip of that. Video of me recording. Just a behind the scenes kind of a camera angle or whatever type something. Not that big of a deal. So you can make this kind of a folder for yourself anywhere, about anything, about any brand. Let me show you one for a brand. So we have one for the Sony cameras. We put that at 0 just because it's the premier brand that we use. It's like the number one that we recommend. So we have a bunch of stuff for that, a bunch of stuff for like I said, the Sony 35mm lens. So I can have one for any of these old clips, new clips, whatever. So if I'm talking about it, or even the vertical bits, we have examples of what all that stuff looks like, different variations, and we use very specific, detailed titles of what it is. So when we search for it, we know what was this about, where was it, do we need a clip with this lens and this camera combo, so it comes up. So if this one has, talking about the A7C at this point would be Mark 1, then I remember in my memory, and it's like the longer you have your team working with you, they will remember your stuff too. They'll learn your history of the kind of content that you've made and hashtag all the things. If you hire a video editor, this is a great, like, you don't have a bunch of work for them to do, but you hire them for part-time. So let's say that's 20, 25 hours a week. Then you like, well, I only have a couple video ideas this week. You don't want to rush something, have them do this kind of a project. Like, I need you to go through the library on YouTube, pull those videos, create the B-roll library, and give them the organization of the, like, hey, go based off manufacturer, go based off the lens, and then bing, bang, boom, there you go. So all of this stuff is like super easy, really great stuff that you can do. And I really, 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 if I cannot overemphasize that enough, I'll absolutely make that B-roll library folder of yourself. Ask your friends, if you got creator friends, ask them for like even photos that I have of myself with other people, thumbnails, stuff like that, headshots. What was this from? 2023? So like these are the ones that they gave for the event. You'll see these pop up for different stuff. I have my own footage from that when I'm talking or whatever. So really, really put some, like, a ton of effort into your stuff and your actions, especially when you get into coaching. If you're doing coaching, consulting, your business has any kind of service aspect, especially if you work in an office and you have an assistant. They'll be like, I don't want to be on camera. Put in the employment contract. If you work for me, put also in your coaching call contract. Pro tip on the pro tip here. Put in your coaching call contract that if you work with me, if you work for me, if we work together, you will likely be filmed, or not even likely, you will be filmed certain aspects of you or whatever, you own the content rights. Consult with an attorney or whatever for the proper legalese language and structuring on this. But you're probably going to get filmed. You're going to be shown in B-roll clips. You're not going to be compensated for that kind of stuff. We own the footage, like whatever. If you volunteer to do like you need to figure out what that looks like. So if you ever do anything, I try to blur people out for coaching calls or whatever if I ever show that kind of stuff. But it's like there's a possibility you may show up in something. You work together, whatever, you on a call, you on a stream, whatever. Stuff like this is public, so you don't have to. But it's just to cross all your T's, dot your I's. So that's what I do, Josh. In regards to your question about the Dropbox folder system and structure, trying to see if there's any other aspect of that. You said you got footage that's already recorded. So that was the B-roll. Let's go into A-roll real quick and then I'll move on. So to that point, let's go to raw files. It's 2 folders that I will encourage you to really make sure that you have. The raw files for the YouTube videos and then the review process folder. So real quick, those are this. Based on the date of the month and the day, these are raw video ideas, A-roll, B-roll folder. There is a template folder here so that when I get ready to make one, I don't have to completely start from scratch. I just copy this folder and then retitle it. The day, the month and the day, and then the working video title, unless you have the finalized video title. And so there's a folder for the A-roll and then a folder for the B-roll. Because oftentimes as you're working on a video idea, you can start dropping stuff into the B-roll folder. So there's a video that I'm getting ready to do that is about questions. So Q&A, this one. A-roll's not there. I still got to record that, but I pulled the questions already from those that asked stuff. So Chat Night Africa, I pulled that one in to mention and talk about the Friday Live Helpcast stuff. People get results. You get your questions answered, but you get results from the stuff that we're doing here. So I just start pulling in comments and stuff that came in as I took the screenshots and stuff like that. So that's a video that I'm gonna record. It's gonna be more of a vlog style video. So that's why I put the B-roll there, but it's not done yet. This one is a done and verify filing, is to say these are all of the finished videos, because sometimes stuff does happen. So I stop deleting stuff immediately or whatever, but it's like, okay, the video's done, it's uploaded. Do we have any issues or anything like that prior to posting? Or because sometimes stuff happens as you're exporting or stuff happens as you're uploading. Weird tech issues that are not anybody's fault. So I'm like, okay, the video's done. Let's get it out the main root folder. But before we do, here's the raw files. Did we grab all the B-roll? Verify. We got all the B-roll. Part of the process when a new video gets created. The main edit gets done. The second thing that happens, this is the process and the workflow in my company. The second thing that happens is the video editor now needs to take all of the brand new B-roll that was added, and it needs to be, because sometimes at the speed we're moving, depending on the schedule, we don't have time to name everything. It's more important that we capture it first. So all of the new B-roll needs to be exported and redirected to its proper B-roll area. Task that is just like an evergreen task is go check those folders and see what's the new stuff that we've added in some of the folders and make sure we got that stuff titled. Because if you just search in Dropbox, you don't need to dumpster dive for anything. You should just be able to search in Dropbox and then it comes up. So they edit the video. That's the first thing. The second thing is export all the B-roll files to where they need to go so that we have them. Then the third thing is if there is any associated or related micro content that needs to come back of that can be done. Otherwise, they move on to the next scheduled project that they have in Asana, which is what I like to use. And then I said I was going to do one other folder or something. Oh, the review process. All right, so this is the review. Last bit here. This is the ready for review. It needs revisions and then final approvals. And then if there is time off, if it's holiday or whatever, something happens or whatever emergency happens, this is where files get uploaded. So it's like, this in progress. Here's everything that I've done so far. Somebody else can now pick it up and move on from it. So let's say you have a micro content editor, a regular video editor, or a full-time and a part-time person, or 2 flex time people, so it don't matter. Somebody else can pick it up. Or if that's you, you can pick it up. I try not to ever touch edits anymore, ever. But now, like I said, according to my journal, it's like I need to get back into touching some shorts and stuff, because I have some ideas and things that in the context of the brand I need to do. So that's that. But otherwise, that's just like a in case something happens emergency folder. But it's ready for review. When the file is done now and they're done editing, it goes to the ready for review folder. If it needs revisions, if there's changes that needs to happen as we're going through the review of that video, I'm going to at different timestamps, I'm going to put like 1 minute, 23 seconds, there's an audio pop. So like little stuff points out to me, either you have an experienced video editor or you are working with somebody that is not an experienced video editor. So it's little stuff like when you cut one clip, you add like one clip is in your office, and then let's say the next clip is out of town in a conference room or something. And as you're going from one clip, at the end of the one clip and at the other, there's an audio kind of a pop. If there's an audio pop and they leave that in and they export that, it shows me a couple different things. Number one, they're not reviewing their files, at least with headphones. Find you edit, monitor speakers, whatever. I don't care what somebody's setup is. Listen with headphones. So if they don't notice that pop between one clip to another, they leave that kind of stuff in, that's a point that we're going to coach to. We need to coach them up. And so it's like, hey, we don't do that. That's not the brand aesthetic. You may have other clients that where they say that's okay, they don't even notice. It's not the case here. That we don't roll like that. So that's something where if somebody just got started and you find out that maybe they don't know as much they say they said they know. It goes back to that person. I'm not making changes. If the video's late, that is their responsibility. That is their responsibility to shoulder. And it's like, okay, well, video's gonna be late or whatever. And it's like, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna rush nothing. It will be late. And that's something now, again, you can either coach them up or find out that you got the wrong person working for you. Other stuff, like sometimes you have rendering issues. If a video gets uploaded and it has like some clip or something is missing, you'll see this with Adobe Premiere, Final Cut. What that shows me is you did not review your edit before you sent it. Part of the process, at least in my company, you review your own stuff. I'm not micromanaging nobody. I ain't hand-holding nobody. Review your own stuff. Past me saying it a couple times, we now have a problem because I'm having to repeat myself on simple stuff. So now we need to have a conversation to figure out where there's a disconnect, or figure out again, do you have the wrong person working for you if they're not educated in the things that you need to do? Some stuff I'm not gonna teach. You know what I'm saying? Like just be proactive. Be proactive in your work. Mistakes do happen, don't get me wrong. And if somebody's really tired or something, like stuff gets missed. It happens. So it's not always like you're fired. It kind of like, we don't have to be jerks about it, but stuff happens. But like know the difference between somebody that's really green versus somebody that is more experienced and is more refined. So that's all that is. Like I said, so it goes to needs revisions, something goes to final approvals, then we have where it's ready to go. You know, and if you have an assistant working for you or whatever, then it goes to that next person, whoever it is that's doing that next part of the chain in the process. So sometimes it's helpful for the thumbnail editor to see the final edit. They can go to the final revisions or final approvals folder, and then we move on. So like now, in past the point, I don't want to review nothing. I want to know that you know the brand aesthetic. I want to know that you check all the basic boxes or whatever. I shouldn't have to say really too much anything, but little stuff does happen occasionally. So, but now it's like, it just should be ready to go out the gate for the most part. So it's like now, it's like with my video editor, it just goes straight to the final approvals folder or whatever. It's like, cause I don't need to review it. It just goes straight to the final approvals folder, and then it's ready to go. I will still watch it, and then I will watch it on YouTube and stuff like that, because stuff happens. sometimes with uploading, it's just little weird little quirks or whatever. And sometimes you do catch little things or whatever, but it's a team effort, you know, at times. So that's all. So hopefully that helps, Josh, covering that question in full. So y'all better get y'all questions in right now. I'm saying, because we getting close. We getting awfully close. So I recently watched a video about YouTube SEO and how the title of your video file and tags when exporting in Final Cut makes a difference for Google searches. Do you have any thoughts on that? Yes, yes and no. So YouTube and Google, its parent company, is getting further and further away from the stuff we used to do back in the day that would make a significant difference. Will it make a difference? Sometimes yes, but will it make a significant difference? No. Because you could title your exported video, add tags to your exported video and all that stuff, and like metadata and all whatever, even a thumbnail. And when you uploaded all that stuff, you had a thumbnail that had certain keywords, tags, and stuff like that in it. You had a title that has obviously certain keywords, tags, searchability factors, stuff in there. Description, you had so many things, like just a blaring red flash to YouTube and Google's like, this video is all about this stuff, which would signal to Google and YouTube that, yeah, this video is about all of this stuff. YouTube is way smarter now with the way they have their systems built, that it's not only going off of that stuff, and it does not make a significant difference of whether that video has success or not. I do encourage you to still, in your videos, in the title, and like think about the concept of the thumbnail and how it makes sense to the person, but it's not so much so like people think algorithm and they think computer. They think like a computer room or, you know, some kind of AI tech type thing that they're having to fight against. It's not. The algorithm is based off of people. And so there are certain signals and stuff that helps YouTube and Google to know more about it, but it also is an educated algorithm system now to also know even what kind of a video it is. Case in point, YouTube systems is so smart now. It looks at and identifies the video to say this is a woman. She has longer hair, dark hue of skin, sitting in an office with headphones, occasionally smiling. To that detail, it knows that. And if I said video, getting ready to do, it's like making videos outside. So if I said, today I'm going to be talking about how to create videos outside with your camera so that you get X, Y, and Z things. It's not going to feel YouTube. I could say title, tag, export, Final Cut, all the stuff can be all the things. But YouTube is smart enough to say, yeah, but you ain't even outside. Where's the outside part? That's why it's now introducing stuff to where, hey, and it's in testing right now, but it's YouTube is saying like, hey, most people get value at 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Not necessarily 1 minute and 2 seconds in. They get value, so like you could probably go here to actually get what you searched about, and based on your history that we know that you're looking for and the kind of stuff that you're looking for. So the algorithm overall is thinking about the experience of the person on the keyboard. And then when it comes as a creator aspect, how well is that video that you publish, regardless as to how many tag titles, whatever stuff you put in a title, description, a thumbnail, or whatever, how much is the content of the video, even the words that you're speaking, what you're saying, how much is this actually relating to what that person is wanting, looking for, and expecting to see, and hoping that they find. So you hear me say a lot, keep your hand on the pulse of your people and stuff. At times, like I pull my hand off the pulse and it's like, it's like, God, Lee, it's like, where is the pulse? And so you posting content, it's like, where is the pulse at? You're trying to figure it out. And so YouTube knows when it's off. And so it goes deeper than just that. That stuff can help when the other elements are there also. It used to just be you could do that stuff, then based on the viewer behavior, you earn the click with more people clicking when they see the thumbnail and converting than those not that scroll past. So when people, it's like it's a process. So when people see the thumbnail, are you getting quite a bit of people, and are you converting quite a bit of people to be enticed to click? Now it's a little different. Maybe share that later, but it's like now it's a little different. But it's like, are you enticing them to click? Yeah. Okay. Good. We know what they like. We know what they're looking for. We know their history. We know about what they like to watch. How fast do you get to the point of what they want? How fast are you showing the stuff of what they want to like? How fast do they know that this is what they want? Or do they have to skip, scan, and scroll? Because if they do, we're just going to tell them so that we, YouTube, the platform, can keep them on here as long as possible. We're trying to help, but we're trying to help the viewer more than we're trying to help the creator. So it's like they got the update now of like, hey, most people just kind of watch this part. They start here. Do you want to just go there and skip all the rest of this? And so that's a testing that's happening right now with YouTube. But you know, as far as that's concerned with the YouTube SEO is so much deeper than just the search engine aspect, because it's also so much about viewer behavior and viewer satisfaction. And viewer satisfaction has been a thing for quite a time now, quite a bit of time, which is why you will see surveys on a thumbnail or video that they showed you, whether it's on your phone or computer. How did you like this content? What did it make you feel? Did you like it? Did you feel inspired? Did you feel happy, or was it off? Was it irrelevant? And when you say, don't show me anymore from this channel, I don't want to see anymore. Like you unsubscribed already, but they're still maybe showing you some stuff from that channel. And you're like, I don't want to see this stuff no more. They not talking about what I want to talk about. They not doing, like, I don't want to be bothered no more. And then you say not interested, or don't recommend this channel to me anymore. And then they ask you why, like what's off. So we, YouTube, can fix how we show you stuff that you will watch. So like I said, YouTube SEO is a very much so satisfaction of the viewer thing as well. So as the creator, you have to be in tune with the people that you're trying to connect with, and make YouTube trust that when you say the thumbnail, title, description, and the stuff that you're talking about or showing or whatever in the video is about this thing, how well is it actually about this thing? So when we show a couple people this stuff and they get it and they watch it, and it's like, okay, more people watching this, broaden that scope a little bit more. Like, okay, let's broaden that scope a little bit more. And it's like, all right, you good. A lot of, like, y'all come on in here and watch this. We're going to show this to way more people and stuff like that. But if you get a lot of people watching, or a lot of people exposed to it, but they're not really watching, it's like, sometimes it's the thumbnail, sometimes it's the title, sometimes it's the length of the video, sometimes it's because they lost trust a long time ago if they saw your stuff. And sometimes it's because the video is not about what people think or want it to be about when they click. So YouTube is like, those that watched, those that clicked aren't really engaging. They didn't hit the like button. They're not going through the chain of events that we want to see. They clicked, they watched a little bit. Did they click enough? Did they watch enough to hit the like button? Did they get enough of an emotional trigger to hit the like button? Did they get some kind of value, just be like, oh, hell yeah, this video is like thumbs up? Or an emotional trigger to say like, no, thumbs down. So did you move them to an action? Did you move them to leave a comment and engage to some point? Bees Knees Hall of Fame pro tip here. Are they commenting on other people's comment? Is there some engagement? Is there community happening here? Because now we getting this stuff, it's like, oh yeah, like bring more people to this, so we can keep, we're going to keep more people on the platform, all that. So YouTube SEO is way more richer of an experience than just tags, titles, export settings like that. It used to be that simple. It's not anymore. I just purchased the EOS R50. What's up, Dollar Bill? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Dollar bills, y'all. Is that a good camera to use for vlogging? Sure. You'd be great for it. It's not a bad one. So let's do Canon R50. And here's the thing, somewhere, regardless as to what I would say, or what you think I might say, you bought that camera for a reason. You did some kind of an online search and stuff around it somewhere. So be confident in your purchase and don't feel swayed that you got to get something else in order for your content to work. Because if you haven't vlogged yet, if you haven't vlogged a lot, don't think about buying more gear to make the vlogs better if we never did a vlog already. So this is basically, yeah, this is the one I need to be on, this one. So if we look at this, so this is basically a RF, the newer mount version of a Canon M50, which I did tremendous amount of videos on. Let's just go to the camera body. All right. So the first thing that you're gonna enjoy immensely, lightweight body, super lightweight camera, 24 megapixel sensor, which is standard. You do get a 2.36 million dot EVF or viewfinder, which is fine, but you're not going to use that for vlogging. The Digic X image sensor, it's already been something that's out for a while. And so they made their own type of product showcase mode. So they have the movie for close-up demos mode, which is again like how Sony has introduced that product showcase mode. Now everybody has their own kind of product showcase mode. So same thing, vertical video mode, and then not a whole lot for photos, but it don't matter. And then you can do up to 4K 30. You either gonna record in 1080p 30 or 24 frames per second, or 4K 30 or 24 frames per second, period. So it's not a bad camera. You'll hear a bunch of people saying all but this, all but that. It don't matter. People make incredible content that I love to watch with their smartphone. And that is the whole thing of their vlog. They never use a camera. They only use their smartphone for their vlogs, and they do tremendously well. So it's not about the camera, it's more about the content. So feel confident in what you bought. Probably gonna get you a wide angle lens for this and move on. Okay, smooth past the stock footage of let's have a great time photos. APS-C sensor. It'll be fine. Got an HDMI port on there, mic port on there, good to go. So this is basically a Canon M50 version of a camera in the RF model. That's it. From there, you'll get lenses, whatever you start with a kit lens. I don't know if they have a 10 to 18 version of a lens these days. I don't want that. So let's see what the Canon RF. Okay, in English, Canon RF. Let's see what comes if I just say vlog lens. No, not the art. This is a cool lens, but not not for that. So they got the 18 to 45. That's your basic kit lens, but I'm trying to see if they have their 10 to 18-ish style of a lens for this. Usually, B&H will at least do 10 to 18 RFS. Yeah, so this would be the ideal vlogging lens for that. So 10 to 18 is wide. It's an f4.5 to 6.3. So basically think like it's a kit lens for vlogging, if you will. It's that wider angle lens for vlogging. So if you got the kit lens, that's fine. You can use that. You just would need to extend your arm a bit more or get a longer vlogging tripod. And then this is gonna, if you did want to get a vlogging lens, this would be the lens right here, the 10 to 18, which it usually is 10 to 18 for most people. The thing with this is going to be super lightweight. Now, it's like whether you got the kit lens or that lens, the biggest thing is just going to create content. So you got to find lens for vlogging. You can do a lot of damage with it. You will only hear people talk about other things because they're sharing what is ideal and what they would like to see, but that doesn't mean you can't have success, volume, and actually get to where you're trying to go with the stuff you already got, you know? So it's like, don't go searching for, is it good for vlog? You already got it. You can make content today. Tag me in your video, right? Go make your content. Question 10, I use a Sony ZV-E10. Most times I do talking head broadcasts, but occasionally I go out on site for live broadcasts. Do you advise me to use autofocus all the time? Yes. Unless you're in a situation where it would be, you have a lot of people walking around, and there's a feature, y'all gotta forgive me, I'm probably gonna close the stream out because this migraine is not going down in a few minutes here. But if you're going to be someplace where you are having a lot of people, like let's say a mall, a conference or whatever, you can still have autofocus on, because the first focusing method it's going to go to is the eye autofocus. Then it's going to go to face detection, and then it'll go to like the body detection of the person moving around. What I like to do, if you know that it's going to be you and let's say another host occasionally, maybe you get like a man on the street kind of a vibe, and that's cool. But what you should do is register your face to the autofocus. That is what I do. I've never had a problem or needed to turn autofocus off, even in the most busiest areas with a lot of people and other people walking through. It stayed on my face. So go into settings and register your face, which if I pull my camera up, let's see if I can find it real quick. But in all cameras just about now have this, so it's not specific to any make and model kind of a thing, but it'll be called face, it should be like face recognition. It may be somewhere around the autofocus settings. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And if you mean the Mark 1, it'll differ between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, because the Mark 2 uses the newer menu system. This one uses the older one. So it depends. I think it'll be in the first menu for you, but if I can't find it, you can usually Google it and it'll come up. But yeah, it's usually somewhere in the autofocus settings or something like that. Face priority. Yeah, I can't find it right now, but what you can do in the camera though is just register your face, and it's just taking a picture of you. What I do is add a couple pictures of my face. And so if I'm vlogging, because I usually, it's like if I'm in a hotel, I have like my hair bonnet on, my hair is wrapped up, or I'm shutting down for the day, my hair is wrapped up. And so I wanted to know what I look like with glasses, without, with my bonnet on, with my hair down. And so I have a couple, just those couple of images of me like that, so it doesn't get thrown off by the bonnet, for example. So you could do that. And if you have a co-host just that day, or if you have a guest, just take a picture of them that day, save that to your My Menu, not like one of your first things, but just save it to the My Menu somewhere, and boom, there you go. But I never have to do that other than myself. And usually your depth of field, like whatever lens you're using, like say it's f2.8, f3, f5, 4, whatever you have it set to, is going to dictate how much past you it picks up. So if we're at an f2.8, but you got other people in the background, they're going to be blurry. So it's not even thinking about those other people walking by. So the ZV-10, I have had great success with it. It's been really, really, really cool. Sam, good day. Good to see you, Sam. Glad that you are here. Sam, people in the YouTube comments are savage. Man, that dude was a mess trying to tell you. He was horrific. Said question, Diana, good to see you, T. Davis. Glad you're here. Answer your question earlier in the stream. Said, I'm having more and more clients requesting vertical video. Should I record vertically or horizontally and crop in post? So I did completely answer this at the very, very beginning of the stream. So that answer is for you there. But to give you a quick synopsis of it, since you're here now, think about the initial intent of the piece of content. And so what I would suggest to you is, if this is a piece of content, where's the priority for that content? Where is it going first? Is this a YouTube video first piece of content, or is this specifically a vertical video? Because if we know this is only a vertical video, we're doing it at 59 seconds or less. Because if you tell somebody 60, you know, sometimes you get more than that. So like 59 seconds or less. If I know we're doing that, we're not ever going to post that as a regular horizontal YouTube video, ever. But other platforms can accept vertical. So even if it's a LinkedIn, it can still be a vertical piece there. It could still be a stories. But if it's a YouTube first piece, and I know it has the legs to stretch to other forms of content because it's a rich piece of content, and then we just want to expand that more, use your grid lines for the framing, and frame with the intent to know I need to be able to have a good enough frame to cut this out later. But if the original intent of the piece is a vertical video piece, I'm not recording horizontal and then I'm making extra work for myself. It only makes sense to do it horizontal and then crop in post when the initial intent is horizontal and you're going to share that vertical. Otherwise, the pieces I'm recording that's a dedicated shorts piece, I'm never going to post that as a horizontal video nowhere. It's only intended to be a vertical piece. That's the initial intent. If I did share it in, like I'm referencing it in a YouTube video, or I'm referencing it in a slide, I can always create framing to make that vertical video fit and make sense to like the framing for a regular video. So, but if you want to hear a more extensive answer to that, the very beginning of the stream today, I pulled your comment up on the screen from our conversation on IG to answer that for you. Do you have any personal recommendations to learn the functions of video editing software and how to edit videos efficiently? Edit every day. Edit something every day. Don't create a ton of work for yourself, but edit something every day. Same way with the camera. In order to get comfortable with the camera, create something with it every day. And what I mean by that, to make life the easiest for you without completely derailing your days, on the days that you have some time, make a short. Record the short, or it could be a TikTok video, whatever. I say short for, keep it in general terms, vertical video. Record that video. Practice your settings if that's the case or something like that. But if it's like the goal for editing, drop that piece in editing and do your micro edits there. So maybe you're trimming the beginning and off, cutting out some mistakes. Don't do it on the phone. Go do it in the editing software, whatever it is that you're trying to get familiar with. If it is a desktop software, I'm assuming desktop software, go edit it. So that way you're making a piece of content to edit there specifically, and I get a chance to get into the program, because the biggest thing is getting comfortable with the framing. I need to get comfortable with the user interface. So the only way you're gonna get familiarity there is not by doing it with the batch records once or twice a month. That's not enough touch points. It's not enough touch points for your muscle memory to even kick in. The way you do that, set a goal for the next 30 days. I know it sounds like a lot, but hear me out. For the next 30 days, edit every single day. So if you're posting TikTok videos, shorts, or whatever, and you mostly do part of that in the phone, what can you record that you can edit in the phone? Even if it's just the trimming off the little bits, that's fine. And then you do the rest in the app on the phone because it's like maybe for that or whatever, that's fine. Just do those bits though in the editing software, export it out, and then do it. Set a goal that by week 1, I'm going to practice my audio levels with that, or I'm practicing my basic cuts. Let's say that. That's all you're doing, week 1. Week 2, I'm practicing my audio edits, making sure the volume is consistent or fairly consistent across the multiple clips. Got one at home, I got one in the car, I got one at the office. So I'm just making sure the audio levels are consistent. Maybe I'm at, whatever on the volume level. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in my sweet spot. So I'm doing that. That's all I'm focusing on week 2. Week 3, maybe I'm now adding in a transition. That's it. One transition per video with all the other stuff that I've done. Fix the audio, do my basic cuts. Week 4, do a full video. Do more, fuller, longer videos or the whole thing in editing. Don't try to do everything all at once though, but set baselines. If you do that for 30 days, set a goal just to fix wherever your starting point is, wherever it is that you are struggling and feeling more tension and friction around, start there. What's the one thing that I could really focus on this week that won't take up a bunch of time? I started on it today and go for it. 30 days. So now you can go into your batch record days or whatever. When it's time to do your regular videos or whatever the case is, you go in feeling more comfortable with the user interface, where things are. But if every time you kind of have to do a Google search or do a YouTube search and like, where's the export button in Final Cut? Where's the button to pull up titles and transitions? Where's the button if you got to do this every month, too many learning curves equal a circle. You're doing too much for yourself. Like you're exhausting yourself unnecessarily. That's the stuff that gets people to burn out or not feel like doing it anymore because it sucks. It sucks. So Just do that. Touch that program every single day for the next 30 days so that you get more familiar with the user interface, get more familiar with the basic functions, and then set a goal for week by week based on where you are starting from and where you would like to feel more comfortable at the end of the 30 days. It's the exact same thing that I did for myself. And the only way that you're gonna do that, not going and playing with a tutorial video, is actually exporting, publishing, publicly publishing. Publicly publishing changes the game in a way I can't rightly explain, but now that video has to live someplace. It's now going to be out there, even if 2 people see it, right? So that's what I would suggest. What is up, David Hunt saying happy white chocolate to all. Good to see you, brother. Glad that you are here. Sam saying also return ZV-10 for the Mark II. I'll unbox it today. You said something that made me go ahead and change that. The active stabilization is better on the new one, and it is. Cannot wait. I thought I was going to get my hands on one today, and it may be next week sometime before I get one in, and then that's when I'll do dedicated videos on the ZV-10 Mark II. I just got to check the dates on it though. But yeah, as far as that's concerned, if you do any kind of vlogging, stuff like that, the active stabilization is improved. So that will only get better moving forward. And then I don't doubt some, not firmware updates like add new features kind of thing will happen, but if there is slight enhancements or bug fixes where they notice something is off and then they fix it, firmware updates like that, then it's going to come to the new model. We're not going to see, unfortunately, any new updates. They're not going to add anything features wise. They're not going to improve anything on the Mark I anymore. And so if being on the go, creating and doing stuff like that is going to be a primary form of content, make life easier for yourself, as well. So, and I was also wondering if you do the feature with the extreme crop, will it change the quality of the footage? Was thinking of doing that until I get 15 or a 16 millimeter for the lens. So let's see here. I'm just gonna have to get up. Y'all make me get up sometimes. Let's do clear image zoom right now. All right. Now we are at a 1.5 times crop. This is in real time. Real time. Do you see a difference in quality to a point to where you would feel uncomfortable doing this in your videos? Because quiet is kept, and actually not quietly kept at all. I tell y'all everything with the settings of the camera. I do up to a 1.2 times crop in every video at this desk because I'm using the Sony ZV-E1 with the Sony 35mm f1.8 lens. That's an APS-C lens. Full frame camera, APS-C lens on the ZV-E1, and this is at a 1.5 times crop using clear image zoom. So unless you notice a difference, sorry, I'm trying to make a change real quick. There we go. So unless you notice a difference at some point or whatever, then this is where like you like, oh, I don't, but do you see a difference? And to a point to where it would like no, that I couldn't do that. Nothing else has changed. No settings have changed. Nothing. It is solely just this. So yeah, that's the crop here with the clear image zoom. It's not going to change the quality of the footage that much. People will say, well, I notice a difference between this and like getting like zooming in 100%. When do you zoom in 100% watching somebody else's content? True question. Not you specifically, Sam. But when do we pull the video from YouTube? We're going to legally snatch it down from the website, drop it into editing or some kind of program, pull it up and do a side-by-side. Never. Unless we're looking at those technical YouTube videos with cameras and stuff like that. Ain't nobody that nerdy in real life to where they care enough to say, like the only reason we talk about it or there is some discussion around it is because there's education content for cameras on the channel. So everything is pointed out because we're always learning. Otherwise, generally watching stuff, nobody's gonna know. And because this is now uncomfortably close, I'm now going to zoom back out. Shoot. Let's go back down. Somewhere about yonder. And now we're back at 1.2. Ugh, fix my seat. All right. Then sigh. I really need to make a B-roll library. Maybe I'll stay up late one night this weekend to do it. Let me help you out. Make your life a little bit easier, kombucha. Daily progressive steps. You don't have to be at one whole time. Just start from today moving forward. That's it. Starting today moving forward, I'm going to make a B-roll library. So when you upload the newest videos, now just add that new stuff and create a folder. As you see stuff, you got a 10 or 15 minute window, stuff where you're waiting on a meeting. It's like 20 minutes, 15 minutes before the meeting starts. You're already at the desk waiting or something like that. Pull up Dropbox or Google Drive on your phone and just go look for those files and just start putting them in the right folders. Oh, we got a lot of videos on this one. Make a folder, and then it's like, oh, the meeting's about to start, and then stop. Just daily progressive steps as you get time. Because what I did, I had to do the same thing. We had a bunch of stock footage of, like I'm saying stock footage, we had a bunch of natural B-rolls, what I call it, natural B-roll. And I'm like, okay, all unorganized goes into a folder. And that's literally what I get, unorganized footage that needs filing. And then whatever I have today, now I got one folder for this, for my actions. And then I have one folder for my assets. And that is a great success if that's all you did that day. Got some time sitting on the commode. You probably scrolling on your phone. Okay, I'm not gonna go into the stats of how many people scroll on the commode. Take 10 minutes if you're sitting there that long and start dropping stuff from that unorganized folder into there. And you'll just progressively, you'll get there. Sometimes we're moving really fast with content and you'll get there. Occasionally, you know, sometimes it's really fast, sometimes it's really slow. Saying thank you. You're very welcome, Josh. Glad to be of service. Question, have you heard about the app Blue? Alternative to Asana, Trello, and Notion? Nope. Be real honest with you. I don't search to solve problems if they're not problems. So just because something comes out or whatever, it has to be drastically more efficient for me to consider the time and effort that it would take to make a transition. If it is a minimal enhancement to the already process, I am not moved by shiny objects. I thank God I got rid of that a long time ago. I don't have shiny object syndrome. You got to drastically make a massive enhancement over what I already have, what I'm already doing, and to have the education knowledge back of your tool or service in order for me to switch. You would be astounded at the number of live streaming companies that try to flip me from using Ecamm Live to their service, or just try it out. They figure it's just get a sample of it, just taste it. You like it? Probably not. It'll be all right. It's probably good, but I'm not going to switch because I have to move all my systems, and I have to move our structure, and I have to move my workflow. And then we have to consider the quality. What happens if we have a hiccup or an issue? How quick is your service, customer service, or what have you? If my team runs into an issue overnight, I'm asleep. They're up working. Not that I make people work at night. They're overseas. So it's like when I go to bed, that's the beginning of their day. So it's like, so not only that, how easy or more difficult is that making it for my people? Because if something makes my life easier, but it's more difficult for my people, my team, it don't work then. If it sucks for them, it sucks for me too, because it's sucking for them. So I asked my people, when it comes to stuff like that, do you like this? Is this better for you, or is it worse? Does it not make a difference? Or I'll have an idea about stuff sometimes. I'm like, what do you think about if we used X? Because I'm more inclined to use this over that. And they be like, it looks cool, But here's why I would say we shouldn't change to using that, because we already have this is coming up, and I just don't think that they're going to do whatever. Cool, especially if they're the one doing the work for the stuff. Use what works best for you, unless we really need to make a change for some reason that makes sense or whatever. So I don't check out, and I'm not enticed, and I don't keep up with a bunch of stuff, because it's a distraction. All distractions are equal. Unless I'm running into a problem, we've hit the ceiling for something, and then like it's not becoming a quickly resolved thing, then it may be time to consider moving. But it's a lot for me to jump ship from something that's working. And if it's already working, you got to really show me some enhancements for efficiency in order to get my just enticement to look at it personally. So it could be a cool tool. I just don't know nothing about it. Katia, good to see you, Miss Johnson. Glad that you're here. Saying awesome detailed explanation of SEO for YouTube, Diana. Thank you. My pleasure. I was thinking about you. It's like a couple weeks ago in a conversation that we had. So it's good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying, okay, I'm sorry I was late. See? For shame. No, I'm just kidding. No big deal. I just wanted to make sure that I did answer it, whether you were here or not, and you checked out the stream. So that way, if you hit me up on Instagram, then I could say like, no, in the beginning we touched on it. So you don't have to dive all the way, like way deep in the stream or something like that. So no biggies. Saying yes, transitioning to phone to desktop editing, very different. So I would say when you go into the editing process, know the basic stuff that you want or would need to do 90% of the time. Simple list. I need to import my footage. Or can I drag and drop? That's why I never move from Final Cut, because the drag and drop features of, I see something and I want to take a light bulb. Let's say this dock pop. Let's use purple for dock. This dock pop. If I say in the video, if this is the raw file in editing, and I say I want the dock pop to slide in like this, or I just want it to magically appear, but it's too low when it initially gets added to the video, I just want to click on the image and move it up, or grab the corner and make it bigger. So at that point, it'll be coming closer. So I just want to make it bigger. I don't want to do X and Y axis and stuff like that. No, because that feels like math and geometry and stuff that I hate from high school. It's like, I just want to see it, I want to grab it, and I want to move it. And then I want it to stay there, and we move on to the next thing. So that's why I love Final Cut, and I never moved or transition from that to anything else. And I see amazing stuff coming out of Final Cut Pro still to this day, even though they're not the most like feature-rich editing software. I still love it, and it works great for what we need. So that's all I will say. Where's the basic stuff? How do I take and start a video? Okay, how do I set it up? How do I call it and title it whatever I want in the file? How do I add my raw footage? Where's the button to cut stuff off at the beginning? Or how do I move it on the screen from here to there, if that's what I'm doing? How do I add my music? Is it drag and drop, or do I need to click specific buttons? Then, if I'm gonna add a title or something like that, for a time, I was not knowledgeable about how to use certain editing softwares, or how to add a title. Or maybe Canva had the effect that I wanted already, and it was so much easier to make it in Canva. So I would make it in Canva and export the lower third thing or whatever, and then take it from Canva and then just add it to the video already done. So I didn't have to do it in the editing software. But I'm like, eventually I want to know how to just do that in the editing software, because I know it can do it, I just don't know how. So to save myself some hell, I just would use Canva and then drag that into the editing software and move on, with the intent at some point to learn how to use, how to do that process maybe and whatever, and then export. That's a whole list of stuff. Basic stuff now, you know, knowing how to do it, a whole list of stuff. But that is a laundry list when you're just getting started. All right. Let's wrap it up. Wrap it up. Sam, that's good. I can commit to that. Thank you. You're most welcome, Sam. Glad to be of service. And you're right. I've been vlogging all week, and I was like, it's not good enough. I'm going to post it publicly anyway, though. That's what I'm talking about. You know what? we're going to give you some round of applause. My bad. Music too loud. Pause. Let's do that again. Shout out to Sam. Good for you. Good for you. Glad that you're doing it. All right, y'all. I said I had a migraine earlier, so I'm going to close it here. We're going to close it here. That guy's still with passion. See you on the next one. Sorry, we got to cut it short, but my head is pounding.